The fire safety sector continues to encounter challenges, such as the demand for stronger regulations and enhanced safety and competency standards. We spoke with Dr. Gavin Dunn, Chief Executive of the Fire Protection Association, to understand how the industry is evolving to meet these needs.
Dr. Gavin Dunn, thank you for joining us. Just tell me a little bit about the Fire Protection Association.
So the Fire Protection Association is a unique non-profit owned by the National Fire Chiefs and the insurance sector, and we're dedicated to reducing the risk of fire and improving property protection in buildings across the UK.
OK, now you set the industry standards and you also try to influence government and policy. How are you getting on with the new government?
So some of the standards we are responsible for, but not all. I think with the new government, there's a real unique opportunity at the moment. Not only do we have a new government, we have recently had the report from Sir Martin Morbick and the second phase of the Grenfell Tower inquiry. It very much lays out the challenges, but all the information we need to move forward. And so while many of the challenges around fire and property protection are well known and well documented over many decades, we really do have no excuse now not to get on with it. And that's what we've been calling this government to do. We stand ready to support them, and we really hope that this time round change is taken seriously.
Another new risks you have are e-scooters, e-cigarettes, so there's a whole new world out there. How are you getting on dealing with that?
The various new technologies, principally around decarbonising our economy, whether it be microgeneration systems, solar panels, or anything involving a battery, do represent a whole new set of risks around fire and life safety. From our organisation, it's meant a very significant pivot. I think in the past we would spend most of our time primarily engaging with other fire professionals. With the greater use of these technologies, primarily for sustainability and energy, we're increasingly engaged with a much broader range of stakeholders across the sector to help them understand the risks of the technology and so they use them correctly.
And your sector needs to be trained and ready for this change.
Our sector, but also on a very wide range of construction and property professionals, are now exposed to or making decisions which involve risks that perhaps they haven't had to deal with or haven't understood in the past.
OK, and innovation, that's always exciting.
Absolutely.
What's happening in your field?
The thing about construction and property, things are changing all the time. And so there's lots of things around sustainability and zero carbon, but also we're constantly using new materials and we have a desire to build a built environment that is very, very high performance. Even Sir Martin Morbick in the Grenfell Tower inquiry report accepted that we would have to carry on using some combustible materials if we were to build the buildings that will perform in the way we wish them to. And so we have got to innovate. We've got to think about how to do that safely and in a way that the public and the market can have confidence in. And so we've been working on some new large-scale tests. And this is quite controversial because these are the tests that in the past arguably were one of the reasons that led to the cladding that was used at Grenfell Tower. So we've been doing work that develops new tests that requires an even higher standard, that it's not just about property protection, introduces those elements over and above life safety. And of course it's a very interesting time because the Grenfell report has now called for the development of these new tests. So it's very exciting, but obviously very cognizant of the challenge and the importance of getting this right.
Getting it right, and I suppose you have to regain trust as well.
Absolutely. Regaining trust and public confidence is key to all of this. That goes at the heart of the regulatory system that government operates, but also then in the trust and confidence of the professionals across our sector, so that people are confident that the homes they're in or the buildings they work in are safe.
And your association, as you mentioned, is made up of members. How are you supporting them?
So we do a huge amount with our members around research and taking that research into knowledge, to lobby government and influence people, develop standards which the sector and insurers use, but also about bringing forward guidance so that our members can be informed, understanding what is going on, what the latest information is. And increasingly, post-Grenfell, we've got this need to move from a sort of trained and experienced marketplace into one of proven competence. So we've been taking a lot of our knowledge and embedding them in a new generation of qualifications, which will allow the sector to demonstrate competence in a much more meaningful way than they have in the past. Again, hopefully regaining public trust.
Okay, Dr. Dunn, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.